Hi everybody, Kirsty here. I hope you're doing really well. So this coming week, 7th of March, two big events happening, full moon in Virgo and Saturn entering Pisces. You may have been feeling the intensity of this energy building up, and certainly we've seen that for some time anyway, but we have big energy entering Pisces, of course, on that day, and then the full moon happening in the opposite sign of Virgo. I have recorded an astrology overview, so if it's resonating for you to check that out, please feel free. It's on my Goddess of Neptune YouTube channel, link in page bio. And with that, I just bring up a few things relating to the transits. Of course, I look at the UK's chart as well because I'm based in the UK. But certainly with those two events happening within less than an hour of one another, that's quite an intense amount of energy coming through. Now, I refer to it in my astrology overview as the full moon kind of turning the light switch on, because full moons illuminate as well as helping us release, but they illuminate as well. So the full moon with us in a room, turning that light on and almost giving us a bit of a pep talk, grounding the energy because it's full moon in Virgo, before Saturn opens the door and goes, hiya, I'm here in Pisces season now. So there is, I don't know, it's 12:40, the full moon in Virgo. And then 13:35 is the time of Saturn entering Pisces. That's for GMT. So apply it to your own time zone, of course, as appropriate. But 55 minutes, if I've calculated that correctly, 55 minutes difference. 55, powerful angel number as well. Change. That's the essence that we've been going through for quite a while. Change, transformation. But Saturn is going to enter that room with us where the full moon's got the spotlight on us already, but it's helped us ground our emotions in, full moon in Virgo. And Saturn's going to ask us, have you learned the lessons of the last time when I was in Aquarius, the last 3 years? And that's going to be a bit of a reality check for us. Have we learned the lessons? Are things now being illuminated to us that we've kind of had to realise, I could have actually taken that path, or I could have made that choice, or maybe the choice I made over here wasn't right for me in the long term. It was in the moment, but not in the long term. And how do I go about now putting things in place to almost rectify the situation? Because Saturn, of course, is powerful energy, but from the positive side of things can help us get things done. So let's not lose, hope and all of that. There is that essence of using the energy to our advantage, because Saturn is entering into Pisces, into the spiritual realm, into the divine realm, house of the divine, and is really calling on us to look and take that reality check, to look in at our intuition, at our integrity. Have we acted from a place of our integrity in alignment with our soul's truth? 12th house, Pisces, divinity, source energy. Mercury's in Pisces as well. So of course, calling for us to really look at that. The full moon shining the light on it, but giving us that 55 minutes head start, before Saturn opens the door and enters the room. So we also need to be mindful not to be too critical on ourselves when it comes to our emotions. And certainly if there's anything going on in relation to value and worth, perhaps making some choices in the past 3 years that felt like they were right at the time because they were all that could have happened, from a place of fear or whatever it might be. But in that moment, it was the right choice. And let's not forget, no choice is a wrong choice, because we just go on detours. If it's something where, say there's like a fork in the road and we go this way and we could have gone this way and it would have made it simpler for us. It's not saying that way is wrong. It's just saying that there's a bit of a detour and there might be some more lessons to learn. Saturn lessons. So this knock on the door, hiya, I'm in Pisces now. What have you been doing the past 3 years? Have you learned the lessons? This is a return of karma. So karmic returns, which could be karmic rewards for everything that you've gone through, all the lessons you have learned, the wisdom you've gained, truly acting from a place of integrity. And this is a time now, Saturn in Pisces, in the spiritual house, of, divinity, and receiving those karmic rewards for all of your endeavors. For others, it could be a wake-up call, because it is going to shine a light on perhaps where lessons still need to be learned. And maybe, there's another cycle that's happening And it's a bit more intense this time because the lessons weren't fully learned last time, and that's okay. It's part of the healing journey. Again, no right or wrong choice. It's just because we need it for our soul's growth. So instead, we need to recognize that we can use this energy of Saturn entering Pisces for our highest good. We can actually work with it. We've got all the stuff going on in Aries with Chiron, Jupiter. Of course, they're going to meet up exact on the 12th, so next Sunday, 12th of March. And we've got Venus energy there, as well as a couple of divine feminine asteroids. So there is that nurturing to our healing journey, that metaphorical hug that I've referred to before of, you know, Venus almost putting her arms around us, putting her arms around Chiron, and almost embracing us for the wounds we've had to accept, acknowledge, process, release, gain the wisdom for, use in terms of going forward. However it applies, if it applies at all, because this might not even be resonating with you, and that's fine. But if it is, what essence of our healing journey, you know, do we need to give ourselves credit for? Because it's been intense, it's been heavy, it's been a lot. Pluto's at the last degrees of Capricorn, you know, before he moves into Aquarius. So intense energy with that deep purge going on within the soul of that transformation that's being called for. And Saturn is truly, you know, the taskmaster. Can be very regimented, very structured, almost having that energy of control. And he's moving into a sign that's mutable. He's moving into energy where we want to flow. And he's kind of there to, you know, it's going to soften Saturn's energy in that way. But Saturn is also going to give the Piscean energy, that mutable energy that we're all embracing at the moment, is going to give us that reality check that we need for our highest good. But again, the caution of not being too critical on the choices that we have made with the full moon in Virgo, because moon in Virgo can be critical of ourselves. You know, when it comes to emotions, it can be critical of other people. Let's come from a place of unconditional love and recognize that what has been, and as long as we're learning and gaining the wisdom from what has been, we can then move forward because we are armed with that wisdom to carry us forward into this new period now where Saturn is in Pisces. Of course, it comes from Aquarius, which represents freedom as well as connections and the social aspect. So certainly the last 3 years, whilst it's been in Aquarius, we've seen a lot in the world that could have tested our freedom in that sense when it comes from our divine integrity within. But in terms of connections, it's also tested that as well. And have we upheld that integrity of what we believe we know is true within ourselves? It's certainly tested connections. Some connections have had to fall away because there's been that realization of what is actually serving us. Has that connection served its purpose? And it's not to say there's anything bad with the connection, but is it now in alignment with me, or is it no longer in alignment with me? Utilizing the divine integrity. Have we been listening to that? Or have we been staying in connections that are not serving us? In which case, Saturn might highlight that as well. You know, is that a lesson that you still need to learn about that particular connection? Is there a connection that really was there for you all along? And because of the different option, it was almost, I'm going to go that way, and that's fine, you know, circle back round. If connections are part of your soul tribe, you're always going to be destined to connect, but it could just be a longer route around. So that's just using examples because it's however it applies on your own journey, of course. But remember, it's that fixed energy moving into a mutable sign. So it can feel restrictive as well. And what we don't want to do is restrict our emotions. We want to be able to continue to flow with our emotions. We want to be able to continue to flow with that connection to our divine source energy within, our compass within, our intuition, that gut instinct. That is extremely powerful because that is source energy. Mercury in Pisces, let's utilize and connect and communicate with that energy and also receive that communication from the divine via our intuition, via downloads, however it comes through. But let's truly utilize that and embrace the divinity within and recognize that we can converse with source if we need guidance on our path. Have we been listening to that intuition? That's another question that Saturn might ask as he's sitting across from you at the desk in that interview room with the full moon light shining. he could be asking you, have you really been listening to your intuition? Because that lesson, you could have already learnt that by now. And again, it's not to say it's wrong, because it takes us the time it takes us. Saturn also rules time, and time is an illusion anyway. You know, my personal view on that. However, you know, it's almost, we don't want to put pressure on ourselves. We don't want to feel restricted, like we don't have enough time to do what we need to do. So we don't want to feel the pressure. We want to flow. And that's why we cannot be critical of ourselves with the full moon in Virgo. We need to have that grounding in of the emotions, allow the opposite signs to work together to provide that balance, because we do need that reality check. As a Pisces myself, floating up in the sky sometimes, I've got a lot of Virgo in my chart as well, and that keeps me grounded. It pulls me back. So we do need that balance, but allowing it to work for us and not against us, essentially, is what it is. So full moon, of course, is going to help us, you know, with illumination and giving us that bit of preparation before Saturn opens the door and enters the room, so to speak. But it's also getting our emotions in check, ready for that, and ready to acknowledge where we might still need to learn lessons. And also, you know, certainly from the last few years, for instance, but also what we might need to still release, because we can work with the lunar energy to release that as well. And then when Saturn does enter Pisces, embracing more of that divine flow, really asking us, have we been coming from a place of our divine truth, of our integrity, of that what we inherently know within, from our soul, of what's right for us and what isn't right for us? Because the lessons we've been learning will have been testing that. And we've been going through extensive transformation. So that's no mean feat. And it could feel like this is a lot. This is a lot that we've been going through, you know, and now we're going to be tested on what lessons we've learned. Geez, you know. However, this is all for our highest good, because the energy is here to support us now in terms of moving forward, illuminating this truth for us, bringing those karmic returns, which is either going to be karmic reward or a wake-up call, but then allowing us to rectify it. You know, the Saturn energy, because Saturn rules Capricorn, of course, in terms of that focused, you know, business orientated, if you like, getting things done, can help us get things done. And so it can help the Pisces energy, because Pisces can be very, very flowy. And, you know, one of the shadow signs is that procrastination. So the Saturn energy is going to help Pisces in that way. But if it's feeling a bit restrictive, then go within, check in with the soul, and try and understand within what still needs to be healed, because we've got all the healing elements going on as well as part of this transformation. So this is just a quick little message I wanted to put out there, because it's heavy energy this week, but it can work for us. You know, we don't have to feel it's working against us. This is just recognition of karma when it comes to the last 3 years. And certainly, you know, before that as well, it could apply, because if lessons haven't been learnt before, and the last period when Saturn was in Aquarius was testing that as well, if they've still not been learnt, it's going to have a knock-on effect, you see. But we're all on our own unique journeys, and so you need to bear that in mind as well, that it takes us the amount of time it takes us on our journey. Patience should be applied, but recognizing we do need to flow, we need to connect with our integrity within, connect with that source energy within, understand what is in true divine alignment with us as members of source energy, and then enabling us to use the Saturn energy of getting things done in order to close out these lessons, so that we're not building up more karma, we're actually cleansing the karma and moving forward in terms of the divine path that is in true alignment for us, embracing the Pisces energy as well. So hope that finds you well. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon. But in the meantime, check out the astrology report on my Goddess of Neptune YouTube channel if it resonates for you for the events this week. Take care, everyone. Bye.